Welcome to Spirited Discussion, a Spirit Island podcast. Today, it's time to play more bingo. Woo!
Power card bingo.
Yeah. We're gonna randomly select some power cards, first minors and then majors, and just kind of talk about them off the dome. Did I have a horrible experience with one of these cards today that's gonna color this? I don't know. The cards are randomized, so maybe.
The world may never know until about 1 hour passes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna do about 30 minutes minor. Let's get rolling.
Well, first I have a tough question.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Sorry, I didn't ask how you were. Oh no.
I'm doing quite well. I'm having a good time.
Good. The main purpose of that is to just tell people that your name is Thomas, and I've done it enough times that hopefully they know by now. I mean, the main purpose of that is to find out how your day is. Obviously, that's the important thing.
Yeah, but I like it.
Okay. Thomas, how is your day today?
My day's going really well. And yours?
That's great. Mine is fantabulous.
Fantabulous. How many tabs do you have open?
Well, at the end of this, there'll be a lot of tabs open for each of these cards. Right now, just 2, but we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll be clogging up the old Chrome RAM hog soon enough. Okay. Anyway, starting us off today on the minor deck, we have Confounding Mists. This is a 1-cost fast power, defend 4, or if you're feeling spicy, each invader added to target land this turn may be immediately pushed to any adjacent land.
How many times have you used the bottom part, the or?
Somewhere between never and maybe once.
Same? Like 0 to 2 times. On ocean would be the when I've used it.
That's a clever use.
Push into the coast and then into the ocean.
But I'm still glad it's there. I mean, to be honest, defend 4 is great. It's good. It's solid. It's what you want a lot of the time at a range of 1. You don't have to have a sacred site. You don't need there to be a beast there or, whatever, right? Like that's a solid.
If you ignore
card.
the bottom text, the or, this is one of the most simple cards in the game. In the bottom text, most of the time doesn't matter. 1 energy, defend 4 is you nailed it. This is a great card. Always happy.
Yeah, always happy. I feel like I'm going to be always happy on most of the defend cards.
1 range, defend 4. Mwah.
It's a spicy pick. The only downside is there's only 2 elements on this card.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why, but
Just how the deck is.
okay.
I think it's a fair assessment here that there's only 2 elements. I wish that some of the cards were a little lower on elements overall, so it's okay with me. It really drives like which spirits want this more than others. I think that defend is very strong on average. So saying this is good on mists and ocean and river, but less good on sun, it's like that's cool.
Yeah, that's fair. I always say that it's a way to tweak the cards, and it's more just odd because there are other cards that defend similarly that have 3 on them. It feels somewhat inconsistent, but I don't think that it makes this card horrible or even really that much worse. But it is just kind of worth noting.
It could be because the that text could have been perceived as more powerful. It like can prevent an explorer build ravage cycle if you get it right, if you guess right.
Yeah. I mean it's interesting. I'm glad it's there, and maybe someday I will need it or use it. There are definitely certain situations where you want things very specifically in 1 land. So, hey, maybe. But if not, even if it was just the defend 4 period, I agree. It's always happy to see.
Awesome. Like calls to like. This card is a 1 energy minor power that's slow. Range of 1. That says if the target land has no explorer, gather up to 1 explorer, and then do likewise for towns, Tahan, blight, and beasts.
Hey, Thomas.
Yeah.
I like this card.
Me too. I think I like it, and it calls me to like it.
Yeah. No, I agree. This is what is this? Baby draw towards the consuming void.
Yeah. This card, every time I see it, I've got to like double check the board. Like, ooh, is this the time? Do I get to play it? A big fan of this. It so much of the design of the game is getting things into one land to blow that up. This does that for basically everything except for cities. Super cool. It has elements for my favorite spirit, sun, where you might be considering our harmonious nature. It also has a sun. You can repeat it, and now you're gathering a lot of things for you to then later go and burn. This is a really cool card.
Generally speaking, any miner that can pull in more than one invader is pretty decent, right? That has an ability to move more than one. Now, granted, you have to work for it, but then the other upside is that being able to do that for Dahan, being able to do that for Blight, being able to do that for Beasts, all of those have their uses. I really like the design of the card just because it makes you work for it. It's not as simple as saying, yeah, just gather an Explorer in a town and a Dahan and it's like, no. That would be way too strong.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to specifically set up the board or have the board already be set up for this to be cool. If you're playing with something like a lore, right, where you have that dump land already built up with a bunch of things, that's great. That's cool. So I think for that reason, it's a sometimes happy. I really like the card. I think it's neat. But as you mentioned, the board has to be set up in a way for this to make sense.
If I'm thinking about it, it might be a rarely happy. In that, I don't actually take this card very often. I get excited when I see it because, like, oh, this card can do so much. But then you look at the board and you're like, it doesn't do anything now, though.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. I mean, it can stop a Ravage theoretically, but you need this with other things, and I think, but the amount of spirits and the amount of effects in the game that give you that are good if you're playing. If you have the Blood calls forth predators or whatever. You're trying to bunch up some beasts. If you have Dream of the Untouched Land, right, where you want to get a bunch of blight all together to remove a bunch of it at once. Obviously, if you're playing anything that cares about Dahan or defending, like the use case on this card is pretty high. But you do have to be playing in those specific parameters. Otherwise, the card could theoretically do nothing.
Yeah. That's like the low threshold. This is a really cool card. I like it a lot.
Okay. All right, cool. So you went with rarely?
Yeah, I think this is a rarely happy. I don't find the situations for it.
That's fair.
But I do look every time because this card it makes me go, ooh, what can you do?
All right. Next card, Gift of Constancy. This is a 0-cost fast card. Target spirit gains 2 energy. At the end of turn, target spirit may reclaim 1 power card instead of discarding it. If you target another spirit, you may also reclaim 1 power card instead of discarding it. Why would you ever target yourself unless you're playing in a 1-player game?
You gain 2 energy.
Yeah, but like...
Maybe someone doesn't want to reclaim. They're reclaiming anyways, and you really want 2 energy.
All right, fine. Be selfish. See what I care.
Yeah. This card is really strong. I think the strongest card in the game.
I don't know about that one.
Or minor, at least.
Okay.
If they change another minor power, like they did with the Growth Through Sacrifice, this would be a card that I want them to reassess. You have to convince me to not take it, even in like the worst situations. I'm like, oh man, Gift of Constancy is here, guys.
You think it leads to those situations?
I know my job now.
Where you're just reclaim looping, well, not reclaim looping, but looping with this your best card and just playing it over and over.
Especially
again.
If you have like a reclaim one on your track, and now you're just like playing the same 2 cards.
Interesting.
Or you're like targeting someone else who is playing the same 2 cards, and you're feeding them the energy. And so, like, reclaiming is a really big weakness of the game, or any spirits, and this allows you to avoid that for a really long time. It gains so much tempo over the adversary or the invaders, and it can, like, if you aren't reclaiming, that means you're gaining energy or gaining a minor power more often than not. And so you could read this as target spirit gains 2 energy and a minor power. Like, that could be a way that you read this. But then you also gain the reclaim, and so it's target spirit gains 2 energy and a minor power, and so do you. Like, that's strong. And the fact that it can reclaim itself means that you can just do it again.
Right. Okay, I mean, I'm not 100% sold it's as useful as you say, but I do think this is just an always, because even if it's halfway useful to what you're describing, the fact that it's a 0 cost card that can always be used, right? Even if it's just a target spirit gains 2 energy, right? Let's say everyone's going to reclaim next turn anyway. Even if it's just that, that's not too bad. Like, on some spirits,
I would say this card, that even if it's just that, both you and the person you target are planning on reclaiming. 0 energy to gain 2 energy is very powerful. I'm excited to do
0 energy for anyone to gain power. 2 energy. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of power level, like, that's very high. In my mind, this card is so strong that I'm rarely happy to see this, because it makes me go, I don't want to do that. Give me a different card game.
You're breaking our rating system?
In terms of power, I'm always happy to see this. Like, oh boy, it's time for me to Gift of Constancy, guys.
Yeah, always happy.
If there's one thing that's constant, it's constancy.
But I do kind of agree it's not the most fun strategy, I guess. But yeah, you know what? It's there. It's interesting. It's definitely powerful. So, always happy.
Always happy. Our next card is Elemental Boon. This is a 1 energy minor power, where target spirit gains 3 elements, and if you target someone else, you also gain those elements.
We're really targeting spirits today.
Yeah, this is super cool. This feels like a gift done right.
Yeah.
And if you're asking, why would I target someone with Gift of or yourself with Gift of Constancy, the question is, why would I target myself with Elemental Boon?
Yeah.
If you really want specific elements, talk to your friend and say, I want these 3 elements.
Yeah.
I know you don't need them, but I'm going to give them to you anyways. And when the event comes up and one of those elements is on there, at least you kind of gained an energy.
Yeah, that's almost always, not almost always, but usually when I play this card, I'm like, I need this 1 element, and then I ask whoever I'm playing with, like, all right, what 2 elements do you want, right? And and then you'll also get this one too. Great. Yeah, this is a cool card. It's definitely very unique. And, I mean, a lot of spirits have really strong innate powers, and getting to threshold them is a really good thing. I think I'm sometimes happy to see it, only because, generally speaking, I do want sometimes to look at something that will, like, directly have an impact, and this does not directly have an impact. There are situations where 3 elements is just not going to get anyone anything extra, right? Maybe they already have a bunch of elements. Maybe they're just so far away from their next threshold or what have you. It's possible, but I still think it's neat.
This is one of my favorite powers in the minor deck. And I am always happy to see this.
Okay.
I find it to be, like, strong but exciting. It requires a little bit of planning, foresight. It's more often than not, I'll look at a card and another card, and if one of them has the elements but an effect I don't care about, and the other one has an effect I care about but not the elements, I'm taking the elements.
I know. You're a big element guy. We know this.
And so Elemental Boon, though, it's like playing a card for another player. And if you say, hey, I need these 3 elements, and they don't match with me at all, like, yes, I am only using half of this card to the best of the ability, but the amount that an extra threshold can get you is often overwhelming, especially whenever you say, like, this Elemental Boon is now triggering 2 majors and your innate power. That's a lot that's going on with 1 card that you didn't play. So I love playing Elemental Boon.
It's interesting because looking at it compared to like memory, right? With memory, you have to spend the element tokens. This acts just like its own elements, right? So yeah, threshold your stuff, threshold my stuff, innates and majors and whatever else. Trying to think if I want to bump it up to always.
And you can say like, I'm looking for this one element, and you see Elemental Boon, you're like, it does the job. So
all right, I you know what? Fine. Always happy to see it. You've convinced me.
I'm always happy to see this card.
I do want to read this ruling here on this wiki page. It's kind of weird. Elemental Boon does not have any elements of its own, but instead grants the elements through its effect. Okay, that makes sense. Despite this, Elemental Boon can be discarded or forgotten to pay any aided by element cost. And if it's discarded from the deck for an element-based randomizer, the player chooses a group whether or not it has the element in question. So,
yep,
weird. So it's not like it's like Schrodinger's elements. It's if the player wants them to be there, they're there. Huh.
Yeah, once when it's in play and you name those 3 elements, it's like you got 2, one for you and one for your spirit that you targeted. But if it was in your hand and you forgot it, it's like 4 energy. Or if you discarded it, it's 2 energy.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good edge case.
It's a niche little rule.
Yeah, but that's beneficial to the players. So, cool. Okay. Call to Migrate. 1 cost, slow power, gather up to 3 Dahan, push up to 3 Dahan. Big mobility for Dahan.
This is a simple card.
Yeah.
It doesn't get simpler than this. This card kind of reminds me of many minds.
Okay.
In that they can gather or push beasts from range of 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so you target a land, you gather the Dahan, and you push them. And so it's like gathering or pushing Dahan from a range of 2. Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of.
It has a little more like nuance because the 3 Dahan could come from 3 different lands on the initial gather, and then you're consolidating them, or you could push them separately. You can deal with several lands. You can push 1 Dahan into 1 land to pair them up, and then the other 2 Dahan into another land with no Dahan, and now you have 2 lands with 2 Dahan, and defend both of those lands.
Is this the most flexible Dahan movement minor power?
It has to be, right?
I think so, because it doesn't go above generally moving 3 Dahan, right? And the fact that, you get to gather and then push means that really no matter where you're targeting, unless your Dahan are like really extinct, you're moving some Dahan. You're moving several Dahan. This isn't, you're generally not going to just like push 1 Dahan with this. You get the full effect if you want it.
Yeah. Weakness being that it's slow.
Yeah.
But that's not that big of a deal. Slow powers are strong. They're worth doing.
I mean, the difference being if the next turn, right, let's say you're going to draft, if you don't have any defend powers and you're going to draft to try to get one, if you set the Dahan up at slow and you're hoping to get a defense power and you don't get a defense power, you could be setting yourself in a really bad position.
Yeah, you're taking a little bit of a gamble there.
Yeah.
I love gambles.
But maybe you wouldn't play this without that. I don't know that I would. But I'm just saying that is one difference, it being slow versus fast. You could just opt not to play it that next turn if whatever. I don't know. I think by proxy the fact that there could just be like no Dahan on the board or very, very few Dahan, or maybe I just don't care about Dahan all that much. I don't think it can be always for me, but I think this is a sometimes happy.
For me, this is somewhere between a sometimes happy and a rarely happy. It's very strong in the sense that you have so many options as to where to put the Dahan, but the elements like don't match the spirits that would want this. Like, for example, maybe Volcano would grab a fire card and you take this, and he just doesn't care about moving the Dahan.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no...
It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a cool card, and you're right. It is one of the simpler effects in the game, but
There's a lot of versatility.
yes. Yeah.
Like, whenever you see the Matrix and you know exactly how to get the Dahan exactly where you want to do it, or you play this card, like, time after time after time, you're like, oh, where the Dahan are where I want them to be. Trust me.
Yeah. You're just a river.
It's a cool card.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool.
Gold's Allure. This is a 0-cost, slow card where you have to target a mountain at range 1, you gather an Explorer in a town, and you add a Strife. It's also a very simple card.
There was a big disagreement between me and Kaylin about this card in the original Power Card Bingo. And I am on team. I love this card. Kaylin was not a fan.
I'm on team Always Happy.
Yeah, I always happy. Anything that lets you move more than one invader and a minor power, plus it adds a Strife, like, that's cool. It costs nothing. That's great.
This is one of the cards that you have to convince me not to take.
Mm-hmm. The only you're like holding it in your hands the way this guy is on the picture.
Yeah, exactly. I look at Gold's Allure like, ooh, Gold's Allure.
Yeah.
You don't have to put yourself at risk. Like, let's say the mountains are ravaging.
Right.
You might be decentivized to play Gold's Allure, because if it were range 0, you would be putting yourself at risk. But it's range 1, which means that if they are ravaging, you go, oh well.
Right. Right. The main downside is that because it's being slow, you don't really know what's going to happen with the Explorer, right? Like, so sometimes you don't know where the Explorers that you're trying to gather are going to even be. And then also, yeah, if Mountain comes up as the Explorer, maybe you don't want to be pulling things in there, but you get to add the Strife, so maybe you do. It's whatever. All that aside, just the movement for 0 on 2 things is huge. That's you draft this turn 1 and you get to pull the town that builds in the land with the Explorer. Like, beautiful.
I want to take this card and play it almost always.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see it.
Same. If the mountains are ravaging and there's nothing in the mountain, you can gather these into it, and it defended itself by adding the Strife to the town. If it's a built-up mountain, the Strife add doesn't even matter to me. I'm just gathering things into the mountain and moving an Explorer and a town for 0 energy.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. If the mountain just built and it's adjacent to another mountain, which is more rare, but it happens, I can clear out one mountain and make another mountain a future problem. Mountains touch other lands, which means that no matter where they build, unless it was a mountain, or not build, explore, I can gather that Explorer, and if I don't get the town, then whatever, but there's almost always a town nearby as well. You look at the board and you say, I'm going to gather a town, and whatever Explorer pops up.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah,
card.
and interestingly, that add 1 Strife does not have to be to either of those. It could be to a city that's already there.
City in there.
Yeah. No, the flexibility and versatility is nice. I talked about this the first time, but just the design-wise, this card is really interesting. There's not a ton of minor powers that target a specific terrain, and only one.
Yeah.
Like, just one specific terrain. But I like that the flavor is that there's gold in them there hills. There's gold in them there mountains. So,
there's gold in them hills.
Phenomenal card.
I love putting the Strife on the Explorer against Russia.
Oh, okay.
Because if it gets destroyed, it doesn't, and it moves around, so you just got this strifed up Explorer. I'm angry, running around the full place.
Just some manic, crazy person running around.
Just some angry, strifed up Explorer.
Alright, yeah, always. But now we must weep for what is lost. This is a 0 cost, slow power. 1 fear per type of invader present. Push up to 1 Explorer/town per blight.
This card's awesome. It's hard to find the situations where this card is doing the things that I want it to do. But in the best case scenarios, this says 3 fear for 0 and push 10 towns.
Yeah, push everything to the cities. Yeah, sure.
Okay, maybe that's not the best scenario. You've got a lot of blight in one land. What are you doing?
Uh,
In a more realistic scenario, this says 2 fear push a town. And that's like, I'm excited about that more often than not.
yeah. Well, so especially you have to target a land with Blight for this card, and oftentimes the lands with Blights are where you want to not have them be ravaging again. So if
Yeah.
there's an Explorer in a town there, right, you target it, you get rid of the town, or you push the town elsewhere. You get a little bit of fear, you maybe stop the ravage. Great. That's great. It's interesting. And now it is slow, is the other thing.
So they just ravaged there, and you're like, get out of here.
Yeah, that's true. It being slow might actually be a benefit because of the Blight placement.
Or you've cleared out a land where they previously ravaged, and then they explore, and you're like, get out of here.
This also does synergize with, like, the, I guess, like...
Wounded Waters Bleeding?
Potentially. I was just gonna say, like, the event cards that add Blight, often you don't want that,
sure.
but a lot of times when they make you add Blight, you get to choose where it goes. So maybe you want to put it somewhere where you can then get that 3 fear and, I don't know, win the game with it or something.
I played a Weep for What Is Lost recently, last week or so, where I didn't have a target. And I was like, something will come up. Probably. if not, this is like a 0-cost elements I'm looking for. Always love that, right? And then, like, a Blight appeared. And I was like, cool.
There you go.
I now got 3 fear and push 2 things. Yay.
The funniest use for this is to push something out of Wildfire's zone before it has a chance to kill it. Just say, nope, not today. Get at it. That's what you do in competitive Spirit Island. Just, It's a mode.
I do play competitive Spirit Island.
Oh, gosh.
Wounded Waters Bleeding, though, for real.
Yeah.
This 0-cost is desirable.
Okay.
Even though you start with 4 energy, you have 0 energy gain until, like, turn 3, and then you're at 1. And so having both access to water and animal on this card gives you a lot of options, and then you have the option to gather 1 Blight into one of your lands, and so you can very frequently be able to push 2 or more things with this. It's a really cool Wounded Waters card.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think I said earlier that just if you can push more than one thing with a minor power, it's generally pretty good. Now, you're not always getting that, but there is a chance. And even just pushing 1 town from a land that you probably don't want the town to be there unless you're Wildfire, is decent enough. I mean, I think this is a sometimes happy.
I would put this into the sometimes happy as well.
Okay.
But it's approaching the always happy.
Okay.
One of the things that I think is cool about this card is that it is a card that is helping you when you're behind. You have, in fact, blighted a land, and there are still invaders there. And so this is helping you when you're down. It's giving you a hand up rather than punishing you for when you're down.
Yeah.
So I like that.
despite the fact the invaders are definitely down in this picture.
Yeah.
Depressing card. Okay.
Want to move on to majors?
Let's do one more because we spent too long on the intro.
Okay.
Last one. Set them on an ever-twisting trail. 1 cost, fast power, gather or push 1 explorer. Isolate target land.
What are your thoughts on this one?
Not thrilled.
Really?
Not thrilled.
Oh, wow. We've got a difference going on here.
Maybe we do.
So first off, we've got Finder on the card, and this feels like a Finder card.
Yeah.
I love that. 2, I, similar to Like Calls to Like, look at the board and think about it for a little while every single time I see this card. But unlike Like Calls to Like, I am taking this almost every time.
Really?
Yeah, I think this card's really good. Not only do I think it's good, I think it's fun.
Okay.
It's an important distinction.
Oh, absolutely. To go back to what you're saying, though, Does this helps you if you're ahead, right? If you've pushed everything to the coasts, right? But
Oh yeah,
if you're
yeah, for sure.
not, then I don't care about one explorer because everything's too built up to deal with. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So on turn 1, this can't, because it's fast.
Yeah.
It can prevent the initial explore effectively, and it can, if they explored into the land that has the town, you can then, and they're adjacent, very rare circumstance, but trust me, okay? You can now pull in an explorer into that land, isolate that land, and now they don't build, and now they also don't explore inland, and then you get to reclaim this later and do something like that again. I play a lot of England, and moving explorers against England does, like, nothing.
Yeah.
But isolating a target land, this means that you get to push the explorer and then prevent the England build. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate this card. For me, it's a sometimes. I think I agree early in the game. I love getting that explorer out of there so that they stop that initial build. I love doing that. That's great. You get this card early. Fantastic. Beautiful. And then, like you said, the isolate. I mean, I don't know. That could do a lot in terms of prevention of things. But later in the game, when just everything is everywhere, I kind of just want a little bit more power going on, a little bit more something. Isolate is just a hard. I ran up against this a lot talking about isolate previously on this podcast. Just that depends on what adversaries you play. Some of them, like Habsburg, it's just like it can be very, very good. But if you're playing one that doesn't specifically like pull things in or do adjacency builds or whatever, it's just kind of whatever. Like it can, hey, you can prevent something or it can do absolutely nothing. I'm just throwing this in sometimes. My opinion could certainly rise on this, but I don't know.
Yeah, the expressions that you're giving with the scaling on this, I agree. On turn 7, this card is bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't do much. It prevents a build that you don't care about, or maybe you even wanted them to build. Destroy that town, get that fear.
Yeah.
You go, girl. But I think that most of the minor drafts that I'm looking at are on turns 1 through 4, 1 through 3, and I'm taking this often. And so if we were to say when in the first half of the game, always happy. Second half of the game, rarely happy. So it's probably a sometimes happy for me as well.
Okay.
But I get excited when I see it.
All right, cool. Do you want to start us off on the major powers?
Heck yeah. Let's start off with Death Falls Gently from Open Blossoms. This is a 4 energy slow power that can only target jungler sands. It deals 4 damage, and if any invaders remain, you add a disease. If you have the threshold of 3 air and 3 plants, you also get 3 fear. You add a disease to 2 adjacent lands with invaders. Initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts are that minors are a lot easier to judge than majors. In part just because, I don't know that I've seen all of them. I don't know that I've played all of them. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's probably possible. But anyway, I don't know. For damage, you got to be looking at like what's in that land that 4 damage is clearing, right? That's a city and explorer or 2 towns, or potentially just a town and explorer if that's all that's there. That's not awful. And disease is nice.
You only get the disease if things are left over.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I want my majors to wipe out the land.
Yeah.
The 4 damage is kind of awkward in that 5 damage is a city and a town.
Yep.
And if there's an explorer, then you have an invader left over. But this is 4 damage, which is not a city and a town. It's 2 towns, I guess. It's a city and an explorer, and if there's a town left, it's awkward. I don't like that at all.
I do like that this has a range of 3. That's nice for like ocean.
Yeah. The range of 3 is emblematic of its power to me.
Boost that range. This card sucks. Gotta do it.
Yeah, if we just put some bad text on here, we can just give it as much range as we want.
Yeah. No, the damage is overcosted in this game. In that you pay too much for the damage that you do. And it's not just that paying 4 for 4, but it's also the cost of doing a major draft, right? It's 4 energy, but you're also taking the risk on the major deck, which could turn you up with absolute trash.
I tend to agree. The threshold is kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the fear is at. Without the fear, it's a little slow as well. But getting the disease in 2 adjacent lands, that's cool. It means that this can kind of deal with 3 lands for 4, and if that's what's happening, that's pretty cool.
Right, but you are still limited by jungles and sands. So it's possible that you can't target a land that has 2 good adjacent... You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. And it's a little bit of a challenging threshold. It's not like a 4 for any of the numbers, but a 3/3 is you're a bit committed to both air and plant.
Yeah, I think this is a rarely for me. Yeah, it's just not... I don't know. I mean, I guess you could close the game by destroying a city with this. That's technically true. But it just...
This is certainly a rarely happy for me.
Yeah.
I don't take this often.
Well, and you also have to think about, too, whatever you're taking, right, of what you're drafting... If it's damage dealing, there's a lot of better things than this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's majors that like you want because of their specific effects, but for this, it's mostly just damage. Like the disease is nice, but you have to have invaders left, and you have to threshold, and you know all this stuff. At its
without the threshold, it's a bad rate for damage.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes. So rarely happy.
On a positive note, look at that art, though. We've got, like, a tree hand, like, grabbing a flower.
Yeah, I mean, Death Falls Gently for Open Blossoms is a beautiful name. That sounds like it could have been a spirit in its own right, really.
It does. It's a cool card, for all the wrong reasons.
Yep, okay. Second card. Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone. Another 4-cost, slow power. For each blight in/adjacent to target land, add a Badlands, a Disease, or a Strife. Max 3 of each. Then, 2 fear, 1 damage. And then if you threshold it at 3 moon, 3 animal, for each type of token you added, add 1 more within a range of 1. 1 damage in an adjacent land.
This card's pretty exciting when it happens.
It's a very interesting card for sure that it gives you the option of tokens. Like, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. I've played this the most, I think, on Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares. It's incredibly easy. It's like default thresholded. I think you can threshold it without playing any other card, even. Off the top of my memory. And he can't deal with invaders, so there's a lot of blight. And you can add a Badlands in that land and an adjacent land, and the 1 damage can destroy a town with that Badlands, and now you're generating a lot of fear off of this card, and pushing them around kind of in a circle to then do it again.
Yeah. Speaking outside of Baudon and its shenanigans, I think that this is it's a cool card because it can save you from defeat. Right? We talked about when does this help, and this helps when you are behind, right? There's blight everywhere. Yes. And that happens. It does happen. There are many games where there's just blight everywhere, and maybe you're even close to winning, but if any blight comes down, it cascades 12 times and you lose. So and oftentimes the Badlands is maybe enough to help you get rid of that last city. Or the Strife is enough to save you from 1 more Ravage. It's cool. I do like that about it. But that being said, there has to be at least a few blight down. You're not playing this with just 1 blight in the area, you know?
I'm not playing this with even 2. I'm looking for 4 to 7.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm rarely happy to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it helps you when you're behind, but not enough. And if I'm that far behind, it needs to do more.
But you know what else would help you if you're behind?
Destroy all
Yeah, just the power to kill cities and generate a ton of fear to get you to the end of the game.
Jungle hungers.
Yeah. This can kill cities, right, with its Badlands, and then you get 2 fear, 1 damage. But you have to have enough blight, and it's not gonna if there's more than one city, it's not gonna clear everything necessarily. It might if you have enough blight, but it's finicky, and if I'm in desperation mode, there is better things. I think I kind of agree with you that rarely, because there's a lot of situations that I don't want to see this, and then even in the situations I do, odds are I might want something better, and it's slow. That's the thing. I wish this was fast too, because if I'm in a bad situation with the blight, I want to be putting that strife down at fast to save me, or the Badlands to kill something. I don't want to be waiting around for another. I mean, I guess you could plan it, right? You could use it and say this is gonna ravage, but even still, I don't know. I think it's a better card than the last one we talked about, but I still think that it's rare the situation that you really want this.
You know, when I see this, I utter a curse of dread and bone.
What are we looking at, by the way? What is this picture? Like a fortress?
It looks like some animals, like spine and antlers. I'm not sure. I've looked at this for a long time, and I have no clue.
I don't understand what the art has to do with uttering a curse of dread and bone, but I mean, I see bones, I guess.
There are bones.
I guess. Okay, hang on. I see like invaders coming up behind it. Maybe this is that you uttered a curse into this totem, right? And the invaders are going to come across it, and then the curse is going to get them. That's my interpretation of this card. Okay.
So I imagine that this is like the land being terraformed. That's where the Badlands are coming from, and the bones are producing disease. It's bad, right? And it's freaking out the guys, and that's where we get the strife.
Okay. So interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next up.
Rarely happy.
Yep. Same.
Strangling Firevine, another 4-cost ranger with a range of 1 from a sands. We've got some text.
And it's slow.
It destroys all explorers. It is slow. Destroys all explorers. You add a wilds. You also add 1 wilds in the originating sands. And you deal 1 damage per wilds in / adjacent to the target land. But if you have the threshold, it's another 1 damage per wilds. This card's cool.
Yeah, we're really hitting up the majors that can do things in more than 1 land today.
Yeah, I like it when majors can do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my preference for majors.
Yeah.
And the more expensive the major, the more it has to do that.
Right.
So my initial thoughts about this is it's really situational.
Yeah.
It destroys all the explorers, and sometimes that just doesn't matter. But it, without thresholding it and without prior setting up, this does 2 damage for 4 energy.
Oh boy, exciting.
We talked about not being happy about 4 damage for 4 energy. So
But
yeah.
It's putting down 2 wilds, which if you think about it, right? How much does it take if you prevent 2 explorers? That would have been 2 extra damage. So really, it's like...
Yeah, and if this destroys all explorers, maybe that was 20 damage by itself.
Yeah, my explorer...
You ever think about that?
Yeah. Now, if you're bowed on, you just push everything all around, and you get a ton of fear. It's great.
Oh, especially with violence? Oh, yeah. So I have seen Strangling Firevine be thresholded on a board with a lot of wilds, and this is like... add 2 wilds, deal 20 damage. It just wipes a land, and then you go to the next land. You know, you reclaim this, and you just keep going down, and it just blows places up. Or someone's like, "Oh, there's wilds in that land. I'll just throw a bunch of stuff into that land." You know, and you get to keep playing this card. It's a relatively cheap major power, and so it's easy to pick it up and do it again.
You know who would love this card?
Keeper.
Wildfire. I mean, yes, you're right, Keeper.
Wildfire,
but
yes.
Also Wildfire, just in the placing down wilds to solve their lands, not have to worry about it. You know, it easily thresholded with what Wildfire's got going on.
You've got a triple stack in the sands. Like, you can do this on turn 1.
Yeah.
You can't, but like turn 2.
Destroy all 0 explorers. You can if someone gifts you some energy. Come on.
You'd have to have the energy during growth.
Maybe. Yeah.
This card is like, it excites me. And when it does the thing, it's super cool. It just doesn't do the thing very often.
It's another rarely. Come on. It
is
unfortunate.
But so here's another spirit that likes it a lot. Not mentor.
Memory?
Intensify.
Oh. Okay.
You get to intensify the number of wilds that you're adding. And this gets to make a lot of wilds. Like a lot of wilds. And then it's a lot of damage. And you can intensify the damage. And now it's a lot of wilds and a lot of damage. And intensify makes this go hard.
That's a spicy meatball. I like that.
It's a spicy meatball.
But yeah, unfortunately rare. Cool art. I like it. It's just a bunch of vines. On fire. Or, actually, I don't think they're on fire. I think they're just kind of... They look like fire.
Yeah, they're fire vines.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
You know.
Yeah. All right.
They cover everything.
Instruments of their own ruin. Another 4 cost, but this one's fast. Add 1 Strife. Each invader with Strife deals damage to other invaders in target land. If you have 4 sun, 2 fire, 2 animal. Instead, if the invaders ravage in target land, they damage invaders in adjacent lands instead of Dahan and the land. Dahan in target land do not fight back. They just kind of sit there. They watch this madness. They watch the Civil War unfold.
This is a polarizing card for me, and one, when I see it, I have to look at the board and ask all the people I'm playing with, hey, do you have elements to give? Are there adjacent things, etc., etc.? If you don't threshold this card is bad.
It's
useless.
It's generally like strife a city and kill a town and explore. That's general use case.
That's like the good case that you can have there.
Yeah.
And if there's more stuff, then you're just sad. And more often than not, I'm looking at a place that has 20 damage in it and hoping that it's adjacent to another place that has 20 damage to take.
Yeah. Fight.
And when that happens, this card is bananas.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, 4 is hard to threshold.
4 is so hard.
And that's not all. You still need another fire and another animal. It's not that it's not doable. It's just you're not gonna. I don't know. You're not gonna take this unless you can consistently do that. You're not. You know, like I mean, or I guess as you said, if there are 2 really stupidly built up things next to each other, you could do it once and then whatever.
When I take this card, it wins me the game.
Okay. So then why don't you take it all the time, dummy?
That's a great question. Because then it wouldn't win me the game.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, you are very rarely, and I'm granted, I don't play the crazy monkey, but there's very rarely going to be strife, just like a ton of strife all over the place, right? Maybe if you're playing Delirium, okay? Maybe if you're playing France.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, there's not too many... You have to be playing a spirit that specifically does that for that top effect to do anything other than generally what I described, which is you strife a city, kill a town, and explore. Maybe there's a land that already has a strifed city, and you strife a second city, and they kill each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knocking out 2 cities like that would be cool, but that's a pretty specific use case. It still has to be one within a range of a sacred zone of yours, on top of everything else. So yeah, really, I'm mostly looking at this card for the threshold.
Oh yeah. When you threshold this, it wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't threshold this, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'll throw a rarely.
Rarely for me.
This is a sad
That's going to be a rare for me, dog.
Oh, no.
Transformative Sacrifice. This is a 3 energy, fast power, that targets any spirit, and target spirit can remove up to 3 presents from anywhere on the island, and then for each one removed, they take a minor power from the top of the deck, and you play it for free. You have the threshold, 2 moon, 3 fire, and 2 plant. Before taking the cards, you can also remove one of your presents from the track, and you take another minor power. So it's like 4 minor powers, a proliferation for 3 energy.
When we decided to restart the bingo, right? To redo it from the start instead of picking up where me and Kaylin left off. This was one of the cards in my head that I was thinking, I want to have a second take at talking about this card. Because when I initially talked about it, I had very specifically bad experiences with it, where I take it, I play it, and then all of the power cards I play, I get they just don't do a whole lot, and then I lose the game, whatever, right?
It says range 0 and you're not there, you need a sacred site, and you just destroyed that.
Mm-hmm. And I just kind of felt at the time like I could see the power in this, but I'd taken it like 2 or 3 times and had that experience. And it's hard to rate a card good if you've kind of sort of lost the game with it, or at least like it's whiffed. But now with a lot more experience in the game, and seeing that the true power of this card is not to use it to get a bunch of minors that are going to do something right away, as much as it is get a bunch of minors, period, and then if they do something immediately, great. If not, you don't have to reclaim for a while. Even if 2 of those cards are good, this card is not that expensive to play. And then on top of that, the threshold, which anything that gets presents off your tracks is dope, right? That's just dope. Yeah. Getting an extra minor power on top of that is just like the icing on the cake from just taking it off there. This is an always happy to see for me now, and I am happy to seek redemption for my bad opinion before.
This is an always for me. I love this card. I adore proliferations on thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that proliferating in the game is really cool and powerful, and making it so that it's not just you need a major power, but you need a major power with a threshold. It feels so in line with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then being able to combo that with an additional effect, in this case, gain another minor power, is so cool. I love that.
On top of everything else we've said, the fact that, it's got everything going for it. So 3 cost is solid for a major power. That's
premium.
Most spirits can do that, can at least save up the energy to get there, right? It has 4 elements on it, right? It didn't need to, but it has 4. Mm-hmm. That's nice. And then on top of all of this, the card doesn't say, you do this. The card says target spirit, any spirit. You, anyone else, right? If you don't have a lot of presence on the board, oh no, don't take this. Wait, no, just kidding, because if someone else does, they can play this. Great. Oh man.
The thing that I dislike about the card most is it adds time to the game.
Okay.
I'm saying that in the weird sense that games take X time and this adds Y to it, and it just feels weird, and it's a weird hanging point for me.
It does kind of stop the game in its tracks, right? It does.
Yeah, you have to pause. Okay, which ones do I get rid of? Yeah. It's what are the odds of seeing these elements? Who could use the elements best? It's like an elemental boon almost, but you don't know what elements, right? And it just slows the game down. But then you see 4 minor powers, and how do we use these? Yeah. And then after you reclaim, your hand just doubled in size, so it just takes more thought for the next turn. It's a strong card. It's a fun card. It's an exciting card. I'm always happy to see it, but it does add some time to the game that I'm not excited about.
I am always happy to see it, and I cringe thinking at my previous take on this, and also, just ironically, this card is effectively power card bingo. It is a card that replicates what we are doing the most. Yeah.
This card has Relentless Gaze of the Sun on it. And besides not having sun, which I love it not having sun, because it's representing the sun considering the harmonious nature. It has the moon, it has the water, it has the plant, and it still embraces the fire. I think that's super cool. If you target the sun with this, they can just bring their presence back. They can often repeat those cards, having their triple stack. It's a really exciting card for Sun, my favorite spirit. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
I love this card.
Yeah, and it is crazy that like you would think that the downside of this, right, is that well, you can't just keep playing this card, right? You only have so much presence. But guess what? Next turn, just play it on someone else. Like, mm-hmm. and so what? Even if you play it once, it's like you go up so many cards for doing so. It's a beautiful card, and it's a beautiful card that does not just win you the game.
It doesn't win the game. It feels so in line with the power of the game. Like, it's strong. It's certainly strong, but you have to then carry that the rest of the way.
Yeah, it keeps the agency with the player. It's not a card that just says destroy everything in the land. Or defend 20 at a presence. That's
this card is also, it does the opposite of what we were talking about earlier. It kind of isn't something you can play when you're behind. I love that there are these cards that sometimes you just don't have the ability to take this, and it creates nuance in the draft in another layer where you look at this card and you say, I would love to do this, but I just don't have the 3 presence to give. No one does. And I think that's really cool.
All right. Next one. Bargains of Power and Protection. This is a 2-cost fast power where you remove one of your presence on the island from the game, setting it on the reminder card. From now on, each Dahan within range 1 of your presence provides defend 1 in its land, and you gain 1 less energy each turn. This effect stacks if used multiple times, and if you threshold it, 3 sun, 2 water, 2 earth. The presence instead comes from your presence track. Wow, look at that. Mm-hmm. 2 cards in a row that want to take presence from your presence track.
Thresholded presence proliferation. I love it.
How do you feel about this card?
The card's super fun, super thematic. It is very powerful. It is, in my mind, top 5 strongest majors in the game, strongest powers total. I've thresholded this on Relentless Gaze of the Sun on turn 2 and casted it twice because it's a land targeting power, and it changed the way that I played the game. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. I have so much presence movement that instead of like being this dangerous stack that's looking to burn the land at all points, I felt like I was a setting sun, where I was low to the ground and I had presence all over the horizons, you might say. And I was always trying to be close to the Dahan but not hurt them. It was really cool the way that it changed the way that I played that spirit in that game. And that does that for basically every spirit. And it just felt thematic, like extra theming for Sun in particular.
I think this was another one we talked about, me and Kalen.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I also think this was another one that I kind of want to revise my opinion on. If we did talk about this one, I think we did. Could have been another bargain, but I think one thing I will say about this card, I think it is maybe a little bit annoying in physical. Just to try to, well, I guess I don't know. It does require a little bit of tracking, right? You do have to kind of make sure that there's Dahan within range 1 of your presence. It's the sort of thing that, like, if you're not keeping close attention to it, you could accidentally play this wrong, or forget or whatever. Think that you're close to something and you're not. But that's just kind of like minor semantic stuff. Obviously, in like the digital version, that doesn't matter at all. I think it's a good card. I think it's an always happy to see.
Always happy, easy.
Generally, for me, any major power that's like 2 cost is generally worth it. At least to have as an option in the draft. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're all really good, but I'm just saying that, like, in general, it's always nice to see something that you can at least say, well, I can play this over and over again, even if it's not the biggest effect, right? Because, certain spirits, you get those drafts, it's like, oh, here's a 6 cost, an 8 cost, a 5 cost, a 5 cost. Like, it's like, I can't do much with any of this. It's nice to see the lower cost things. But yeah, it definitely changes the game into a Dahan moving minigame, and that's genuinely really cool.
It is cool. Something I don't like about it is that it warps the game. It capital WARPS the game. Every single player in the game is doing this.
It's a scenario on a card.
Yeah. Like, if one person does this, they can play it and more than likely play it twice. If you play it more, good for you. But every single other spear in the game now has one single-minded objective of move Dahan. And I think that's a little dull. Something I do think is really cool about this is if you target the person who did the bargain with a range increase, then it affects that as well. Like,
oh yeah, it does.
So
yeah,
that's
interesting.
Neat.
It is one of those things that like I have certain feelings about it because it does come with certain baggage with the game, right? But in terms of just like power, it's definitely an always happy to see. And
if the minor
and it's interesting.
If the major deck were smaller, like let's say half the size, and you saw this most games, or if I played with 6 players and the group I was playing with looked through majors relatively often, this would be in almost every single game, and I would get sick and tired of it, and I would resent this card. But as it stands, I rarely see all of the majors in a month, and so this comes up infrequently. And so when it comes up, it's like a new, fresh breath of air, and it's exciting. But with how powerful it is, if this happened every game, I would get annoyed and want to stop playing. So it is polarizing to me in that way, but it doesn't. I don't see it that frequently, and I love that.
Okay. All right, Thomas, you want to get one more in here?
Sure, let's do it. We've got Forests of the Living Obsidian. Oh, this card's super cool. It's a 4-cost slow major with a range of 0, where you add a Badlands, you push all the Dahan, 1 damage to each invader, and if the origin lands a sacred site, plus 1 damage to each invader, and if you have a threshold of 2 sun, 3 fire, and 3 earth, you repeat this power.
Big day for slow 4-power majors.
Heck yeah. I love this card. I want to take this card almost every time I see it. It's so cool. It wipes out a land. Like a very common situation is like 1 city and maybe 2 towns and 2 explorers, something close to that. The Badlands will amp the damage that you do to the city, and then if you have the Sacred Site, it blows up the entire land. And then if you have the Threshold, you can do it to another land. Or maybe there are more cities in this land, and you just repeat it into that same land twice. It's a slow power with range 0, and if it's a built-up land, then it's risky to be there, because they probably are going to ravage.
Right.
And then for it to be maximally effective, you need 2 presence. The Sacred Site is not like easy to do. And so when I see this card combined with a built-up land, I'm like, I have to now think, how do I get into that land with a Sacred Site while protecting my presence, while also having a Sacred Site in another land to also blow up? It's a cool puzzle. Love it when I get to do this card.
Yeah. What's nice is that it does have a range of possibilities in there, right? You could potentially repeat it on the same land if you absolutely need to, if you don't have a Sacred Site, but you have Threshold. Or you could just do it the once and then use the Badlands, right? And then maybe some other card can kind of come in and polish off some other stuff. Like, it's the sort of thing where if you are achieving the dream, right? The best scenario of you clear everything in one land and then you repeat the power and clear everything in another land. That's amazing, but even if you fall short of that, I still think there's a lot to gain out of this card. And yeah, I think I'm always happy to see this card.
I'm always happy to see it as well. Even when I don't take it, I get excited about the possibilities. It has 4 elements on it, and it's cheap. And something that I don't land around as often as perhaps I should is this has push all Dahan. You get to move Dahan around and add a Badlands, and so even if you're not doing the damage, add Badlands and push all Dahan has a significant amount of utility. It's really cool even in that aspect. I'm never playing it just for that, to be clear. This wipes out a land, but that it does do things.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the second time you play it, right, you just play it for the Dahan because that's what you need. Or not just the Dahan, but, maybe you don't clear the whole land. Maybe you grab it, you clear one land fully, and then, hey, you have the energy, play it again somewhere else. Even if, I mean, at minimum, you're adding a bad land and pushing some Dahan, I guess, which is, but, like, there's a lot of utility in the card, even outside of its best case scenarios, and I like that a lot. Of course, it is still something you have to work for, but yeah. And then, shout out to Rising Heat of Stone and Sand. That's already weakened all the invaders. So, okay, cool. All right, we got through a whopping 8 minors and 7 majors today. All right,
that was fun and exciting. I want to do a draft. Yeah, so I saw one for Sun in the Discord. And I've been talking about Sun today a lot. He's on my mind. I love the spirit. Right here, by Wataya Hotel, 98. This is, they say, first time playing any nature incarnate spirits. This is my 3rd turn versus Scotland 1. Relentless Gaze of the Sun. We're looking at Unquenchable Flames. Dry wood explodes in smoldering splinters. Sky's Herald. The Season of Return and Hazard spread across the land. This is a tough draft for me. I think you could make an argument for literally any of them. What do you have?
I have the knowledge that I have not. I don't believe I actually played with Sun. maybe once or twice, but not consistently. So I don't really know what's going on here.
Here's some of my thoughts that are going on. Sun gets to repeat their powers pretty easily. And so the 0 cost, it's with ramping costs. So a 0 cost one is cheaper to repeat frequently, making Hazard spread enticing. Because they also, start with a Badlands and can easily place and move Badlands. And so Hazard spread is super cool. It also has that grass for the Harmony and a fire. And the 3 Sun is relatively easy to acquire. So I'm really excited about hazards almost every time.
Okay.
Unquenchable Flame wipes out a land on Sun. You deal 1 damage, and then you repeat it, and that's another 2 damage. And that's 3 damage, but if you want to repeat it, it just goes up. And if there's already a Badlands, to the moon. And you never not threshold this. And then Sky's Herald, you're adding a blight with your left innate so frequently that the moon prevents that blight, and a spirit on the board gets to add a destroyed presence, and you have destroyed presence. Like, a lot. And it has the Sun, and early on, this is turn 3. Turn 3, you're still in the mood for Sun. So that's the only one that has Sun. And then finally, Drywood explodes. This is a card I'm not excited about, almost ever, but just dealing damage on Sun is strong, but then it also generates 2 fear, and being able to repeat that is cool. This costs too much energy to do that, but it's cool. Drywood is the easy, I wouldn't take that. Me, personally, it depends on what other cards were taken, but I think I'm taking Hazard Spread most of the time on this.
I mean, I never look down at a Hazards pick. Hazards is fantastic, and yeah, the fact that this thing has Badlands, right, and is a spicy, interesting pick. Now, it's worth noting that there's no disease left on this board.
There isn't.
There's no other tokens other than Vitality, which does not count for hazards. So that is kind of something interesting.
But the thing I want to repeat, even when I'm not playing Sun, is the Badlands. And when I am playing the Sun, I want to put like 30 Badland tokens on the board and just watch the whole world burn.
You know what? Again, I don't have any experience with Sun, so I'm just.
This is a really cool draft. I was really excited to see this one, you could convince me to take any 3 of these, not Drywood. You can't convince me about that one, but it's still decent.
That just makes me want to pick Drywood harder. No,
Nope,
no,
not doing
I
it.
don't know. Unquenchable Flame seems spicy to me. You still get the potential for Badlands placement.
It's Badlands
Exactly.
and damage.
And then you get the damage and fear.
And fear.
And they don't even heal.
And you've got that moon. Yeah, this is a tough draft. Like I would sit this down with my partner and I would say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm looking at. Which one do you think? Let's talk about it. Which adversary?" In this case, it's Scotland. But like there's decisions to be had. Maybe I would take Unquenchable Flame because it deals damage to towns and they place more towns on the coast. This is such a good draft.
Something kind of interesting is with Sky's Herald is they are playing with Towering Roots of the Jungle, I believe it's called, which does kind of already have some blight prevention. I don't remember if it has blight healing itself, but at least it has the vitality.
I don't remember.
Perhaps the blight, it does not matter as much, like just that little effect from Sky's Herald. I mean, not that it adds blight, but, you know.
Like, you don't need to consider harmonious nature to prevent the blight adding if you're going to say, hey, Towering Roots, could you place the vitality here to prevent me from blighting in the first place? And now you don't have to destroy your presence or add a blight.
Yeah.
So the moon is, like, less effective. This is a really cool draft. I love this one of the ones we've seen so far.
Yeah, it doesn't innately have anything that removes blight, but yeah, the vitality everywhere can certainly synergize nicely. So yeah, all right, very cool draft. Thank you for submitting that. And yeah, if you guys have a draft, please submit it in our Discord server. There's links in the wherever in the show notes to come join our Discord, come talk about everything we've talked about. Next week will be a mystery. Ooh, what are we doing next week? I don't know. All right.
Looking forward to our next chat.
We hope you enjoyed this spirited discussion.